Hello.
Hi.
Hazel and I are going to read a book today titled
The Deer in the Wood.
The Deer in the Wood. It is a Little House book, my first Little House book. All right, here we go. Yeah. Once upon a time, a little girl named Laura lived in the big woods of Wisconsin in a little house made of logs. Laura lived in the little house with her pa, her ma, her big sister Mary, her baby sister
Carrie.
and their good old bulldog
Jack.
Jack. It was autumn and the days were getting short and cold. A fire burned all day in the cook stove to keep the little house warm. Laura and Mary worked on their patchwork quilts in front of the fire.
I like Mary's jammy.
Hazel likes Mary's jammies, even though I think that is actually her dress. I think
Or
that's her
her
dress,
dress.
yeah. One night, Pa said that after supper he would go into the big woods to look for a deer. There had been no meat in the little house since spring, and it was time for Pa to go hunting again. After supper, Pa went into the big woods. Laura and Mary went to bed, and they missed the songs that Pa always played for them on his fiddle before they fell asleep. I wonder if anybody else's dad sings to them with a fiddle before bed.
Not
think?
me.
Does your dad? No. The next day, Laura and Mary waited for Pa to tell them about the deer, but Pa was busy all day chopping firewood so the little house would stay warm inside. And there was no deer meat for supper that night. How does our house stay warm?
We have a fireplace.
We have a fireplace, and we have a furnace, so we don't have to chop wood. After supper, Pa took Laura on his knee, while Mary sat close on her little chair. Pa said, "Now I'll tell you why we had no meat today." You know what I noticed? Their kitty is sitting on the table in this picture. Huh.
Oh, yeah.
Would you let your kitty sit on the table? Oh.
I would hit it.
No, you gotta be nice to animals. Last night, I went into the woods and climbed up into a big oak tree to watch for a deer, Pa said. Soon the big round moon rose, and I could see a deer with great big horns that stood out from his head. Quit that. Yeah. Ooh. That's a nice deer. He looked so strong and free and wild that I couldn't shoot him. I sat and looked at him until he ran off into the big woods. Why was it that Pa couldn't shoot him?
Because he was so beautiful.
Yeah, he's just such a nice looking deer. It'd be a shame to shoot him. Then I remembered that Ma and my girls were waiting for me to bring home some meat for supper. So I made up my mind. The next time I saw a deer, I would shoot. Yep. He says he's gonna, but will he?
No.
After a long while, a mother deer and her baby fawn stepped into the moonlight. They stood there together, looking out into the woods. Their large eyes were shining and soft. Oh, yeah, you can never shoot a deer with the mother and the little baby right there. That'd be too sad.
Yeah, never shoot a baby deer.
Right, but even to shoot the mother would be sad because then the baby would be alone, right?
Yeah, but it would still have its dad.
Really? Where's the dad? I don't see him.
Well, he's in the lead right now.
He's in the...
Well, he was in the other page.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Sure.
them.
I just sat there looking at them until they walked away among the shadows, and then I climbed down out of the tree and I came home.
Mm.
Yep. No meat. No meat for the Ingalls.
We'll bring them
Laura, yeah, well, we could. Laura whispered in his ear, I'm glad you didn't shoot them. And Mary said, we can eat bread and butter. Pa hugged both of them together and said, you're my good girls. And the kitty just wants to know where her food is, I think. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Soon Laura and Mary were tucked snugly under their covers. Pa played his fiddle softly, and Ma sat by the fireplace gently rocking and knitting. And Laura lay awake a little while, thinking how lucky they were to be safe and cozy in their little house in the big woods. Ma's working on some sewing. Laura's got her doll. Do you remember what Laura's doll's name is? I think it's Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. Oh.
Last page.
Last page.
No picture.
No words.
Book with no
The end.
pictures.
Where's the laptop you used?
That was a great book.